Hey guys, good morning. We're in Lone Oak Cemetery in Leesburg, Florida, and they've got the coolest cemetery I've ever seen. It's historic, so let's take a look. So we find, guys, come along with us as we enjoy this adventure here at Malibu and Dad.
Glad to share the places and the people that we'll meet. Think of the memories we'll have. Exploring hidden history, it's time to hop aboard on the road with Malibu and Dad. On the road with Malibu and Dad.
All right, guys, so we're looking around here, and we're in the older section. I do see some Union graves right there, and there's another one a little ways up. Then I see, it looks like it might be a Confederate grave, because I see the marker right there, and we're going to take a look at that. These stones are a lot older. This guy here, born in 1808, died in 1886. So some of these old stones, you can really tell once you get in the older section. The stones are just so much more ornate and more white marbly. It just, you can really tell. Let's see, this one here has a CSA marker. James Monroe. That's funny, it's kind of the name of a president, isn't it? And his wife, Mary. He has a CSA marker. Doesn't give anything about his rank or what company or anything, but he does have the CSA marker there. So I love those old Confederate graves. As you can see, stones are pretty cool looking out here. Let's still take another quick look around and see what we find. So here's a cool older one by Andrew Noble Miller. He died in Monticello, Florida, July 19th, 1895. And this is when you can tell you're in definitely an older cemetery. Look at these headstones, guys. Very different compared to the big granite stuff you see. And they start getting taller too, like that one right there is taller than my wife. Really neat cemetery. Leesburg has been quite the neat place to visit. Downtown in their cemeteries. I love the older ones. So much history here. Look at this stone here, guys. This belongs to a Millam. Died April 25th, 1886 at age 18, 9 months and 7 days. Died very young. These are some more moms. We're definitely in the M section because I see another Miller back there. All right, guys, so we're in the back of the cemetery around the older section. And this particular stone here talks about Morse United Methodist Church, first permanent building here, 1859 to 1875. So evidently this church was once here, and this is probably what started the older section of the cemetery. And just adjacent to this building is a very interesting stone here, guys. And this guy's name here was George Alfred Wittes. You can see a picture of him. Look at that picture, old cowboy picture. And he was born in England in 1854, and then he died July 31st, 1920. He was buried in Lone Oak Cemetery, Leesburg, Florida, by Annie Oakley. He was a gunsmith to Bill Cody and Annie Oakley. Stone donated by Loretta D. Wittes Smith and Hubert O. Smith, Rain City, Michigan. So another nexus that we read in the history here, other than this gunsmith knowing Annie Oakley, was that Annie Oakley was in town. Her dog was killed on Main Street here in Leesburg, and she asked permission to bury her dog on property here at this cemetery during that time, and it was denied. So what a kind of cool nexus that her gunsmith is here, but her dog isn't. And evidently Annie Oakley has some ties to this area. This is the second story I found about that. So anyway, that'd be something fun for you guys to do at home. This is kind of a neat one here, guys. Bertha Hereford Hall, born Marietta, Ohio, January 26, 1857. Died October 16, 1928. And they have the Daughters of the American Revolution chapter here. So she must have the chapter of the Bertha Hereford Hall chapter. So maybe she's a starter of that Revolutionary War thing. That's kind of cool. And there are some markers here on the ground. So evidently she had something to do with that. Pretty cool. Some older stones here. John Love was another military veteran. These old stones are beautiful. Look at that one there, guys. Let's head this way over here. All right, guys. On a special marker and gravestone here, look at the age on this thing. And this is Evander M. Lee, and marks his grave. He was born December 7th, 1812. He died January 12th, 1881. And he was the founder of Leesburg, Florida in 1849. This is where he's buried, guys. So that is pretty cool and historic. Founder of Leesburg, Florida, right here. All right, guys, so this is a kind of a neat Louisa A., wife of J.F. McClendon. She died in 1886. This is his headstone, and it says he was in the Civil War, CSA, died in 1881. But no stone for him, and then all of these subsequent stones here are faced the opposite way, and they seem to be all his children. 3 years old, 5 months old. They all died very young. 8 years old, 1 year old, huh? Kind of weird. All the children are right here dead. I'm sure there's a story behind this one for the McClendon family. All right, guys, so this is the area here of John Wilson Dyche and his family. And I believe they were pretty early settlers too, because these two graves here are both Confederate States of America grave markers. So, and then the whole family's right here. You can tell these stones are pretty old. And that was his wife, Deb Rebecca. Actually, got two wives here. Huh. This one to the left here died in 1881. Her name was Rebecca. And Agnes W. says that he was the wife also. And she died May 18th, 1884. So 4 years later after his first wife, according to this. Wow, that's something different. Huh. All right, so I'm heading towards this area here with this tree. And man, these graves look really old. You can see they're all kind of debacled up there. I think this tree pulled most of them up. I'm showing death dates about 1882. Like I said, this giant tree here just pulled up all these headstones. And you got some of these older ones here. A lot of Masonic markings on these headstones too. So this is definitely an older section of this cemetery. Kind of neat. You can see how kind of beaten up it is. Starting to crack pretty bad. The grave of James Lee Hucks. born October 3rd, 1871. He was assassinated February 13th, 1924. James was the sheriff of Lake County for 2 years, and after retiring from that, he became the chief of police here in Leesburg, Florida. James was assassinated during a raid on a still, where he was ambushed and assassinated during that raid by a 16-year-old who killed him. He's laid here to rest in honor. James Lee Hucks, lawman, buried here. May he rest in peace. Guys, we saw the story about Annie Oakley's gunsmith at the cemetery. Here's a bronze statue of her and her dog Dave, which she did an exhibition with, where she would shoot an apple off her dog's head. He was killed here off of Main Street in Leesburg on one of her trips here, and that's when she tried to have this dog buried at that cemetery, but they refused her. But they did like her, and they placed a statue here at the library of Annie Oakley. Guys, we're in the older section here, and I found a CSA here of N.G. Bradford, 1825, 1889 CSA. These are very different, and they're so much smaller compared to the other ones I've found with military backings. This is his wife Jane. You can tell that stone's old, very different and old. It's hard to tell on the numbers on this one, but I believe that's going to be her husband there, and he was a Confederate soldier. Like I said, this is the older section. Got some really neat looking stones back here. Guys, we're back at the cemetery here, and again I wanted to just emphasize this little area here and this tree. It's probably one of the most creepiest, scary parts of this cemetery right here. They're really packed in, and this tree just helps make it a little more spooky.